Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of How Many Games Can I 100% Before I Reach 1,000 Subscribers. Today we are going to be adding another game to our 100% list, and that game is none other than Untitled Goose Game. Now most of you are familiar with this game, but for those of you who aren't, you pretty much just control this goose and solve puzzles around the town by ruining people's lives. Untitled Goose Game has a total of 25 achievements, and of course, you all know what the drill is, so let's throw the counter up on screen. And without further ado, let's get right into the game. We start in our little home where we can learn the controls, and after that we can make our way to the garden to meet our first victim of this game, the groundskeeper. I should also mention, every time you reach a new area, the game gives you a to-do list that you must complete to progress. However, you are allowed to skip one goal and come back to it later. The reason I say that is because I actually couldn't get the groundskeeper to wear his sun hat, but besides that, we were successfully able to get into the garden, steal the groundskeeper's keys, get the groundskeeper wet, put the rake in the lake, have a picnic, and make the groundskeeper hammer his thumb. Unfortunately, we did not get an achievement for any of that because I didn't technically complete the to-do list, so we will be back here later. Moving on to High Street, we meet the next victims of this game, with one of them being this boy that is actually scared of us, and the shopkeeper that for some reason tries to fight us with a broom. Anyway, after some lighthearted terrorizing, we are able to trap the boy in the phone booth and get on TV, which are two things on our to-do list that we can check off. Shortly after, I am able to break the broom and make the boy put on the wrong pair of glasses. Once we complete the last 3 items on the to-do list, which you can see playing in the background right now, we are able to get the achievement for fully completing the High Street to-do list, and with that, we are ready to move on to the next section. The back gardens is our next stop, and here we meet 2 neighbors who don't actually act neighborly to each other, and of course, it's our job to make their relationship even worse. I'm going to speed through this area a little bit because we spend a lot of time here later with the other achievements, so just know we made the man break the vase. By ringing this bell, we were able to make the man spit out his tea. We can take both of his slippers and make the man go barefoot. Then we rob the man of all his accessories to help the woman dress up her bust. We can also trick the woman into dressing us up with a bow, and steal all her clothes to do the laundry, and finally make the woman prune the prize rose, which gives us the achievement for completing every task on the back garden's to-do list. Needless to say, the man definitely got dealt a bad hand of cards with this one, but that doesn't matter now because we have made it to the pub. The first thing we have to complete on our to-do list here is just simply getting into the pub. Once we are in the pub, we can knock this poor old man over by taking his chair, be awarded a flower by performing for these 2 ladies, get this toy boat by overflowing the sink, drop this pint glass into the canal, break the dartboard, and drop a bucket on the burly man's head, and yes, that is how the game refers to this character. Unfortunately, I wandered around the pub for about 40 minutes and could not figure out how to set the table, so no achievement for this to-do list yet. After we escape the pub, we enter the model village and can steal the miniature bell. When we take the bell, we are assigned with the simple task of taking it back home. Except, it's not so simple, because everyone who we terrorized will now be chasing me down, and the worst part is the bell rings and attracts the attention of everyone every time I try to run or lower and raise my head. After making it through a couple close calls and difficult sections, I was finally able to make it home, and we got the achievement for finishing the game. After the credits roll, we are met with 4 more pages of to-do tasks, and this is where the bulk of our achievements are located. The first thing we can do after investigating the list actually involves us going back to the first garden. Here we are able to finally make the groundskeeper put his sun hat on and get the achievement for completing the garden to-do list. After that, we can head back to the High Street shopping area, and here we can get the achievement for making the boy trip in the puddle by scaring him after we untie his shoes. I am then able to open an umbrella inside the TV shop for another achievement, and shortly after that I can make the shopping scale ding by putting too much food on it, which in doing so awards us with another achievement. The last thing I did for the first day of playing this game involved me trapping the boy in the garage, which gave us yet another achievement. But before we get into day 2, I just wanted to talk about something real quick. I'm sure many of you know, these last couple of weeks have been filled with a lot of death and hatred and negativity that has been felt around the world. I just want to encourage everyone to lead with love in everything they do. Right now, the world needs people to pray, and the world needs people to spread godly love, so please, if you see hatred, don't retaliate with more hatred, but instead be a positive person and help make a difference. I love you all, and let's get back to the video. Day 2 starts out with a new camera angle, but more importantly, it starts with us in the pub, and we can finally set the table and get the achievement for completing the pub to-do list. While we are here, I can also grab the toy boat and take it to the canal and get the achievement for sailing it under the bridge. Now, going back to the garden, we are able to get our our next group of achievements. The first thing we want to do here is hide the groundskeeper's keys and then turn on the sprinklers so he leaves the garden. Once he is outside, we can close the gate and get the achievement for locking the groundskeeper out of the garden. The next thing we can do is roll this cabbage out of the garden and all the way down to the picnic blanket and get another achievement. The last thing we needed to do to the groundskeeper was make him buy back his own trowel from the shopkeeper. To do this, we first need to take his thermos over to the high street shop and drop it on the ground. Then we need to go back and grab his trowel and have him follow us to the shop. Once he sees his thermos, he will stop chasing me and take the thermos back to the garden, which gives the shopkeeper enough time to take the trowel and put it on a shelf. Then we simply just wait until the groundskeeper comes back to buy it and we get another achievement. After that, I proceeded to take the soccer ball from the kid and push it all the way through the street and up a hill until we reach the back gardens. From here, we can have the man throw the ball over the fence and then push it through this hole in the woman's fence, which leads to this soccer goal, and we can get the achievement for scoring a goal. Let me just tell you, some of these achievements literally have you all over the place and it's not even funny. Luckily, our next achievement isn't one that takes us all over, and we can easily get it by catching this bar of soap the man throws over the fence. Unfortunately, for the next achievement, we need to dress up the bus with things from outside the back gardens, and to do that, we are going to need the toothbrush, a pair of glasses from the high street area, and we are also going to need to take the hat from the old man in the pub. We can first easily grab the glasses when the shopkeeper is not looking. Then we can get the hat from the old man, which is actually another achievement, and that is why I chose to use this hat instead of the groundskeeper's hat. And lastly, we can get the toothbrush from this trash can to complete the bust and get yet another achievement. After this, we can get dressed up with the bow again and make our way back to the pub and perform for these two ladies for another achievement. Once we get the flower from performing at the pub, we can take it to this basket and start collecting the 4 other flowers around the map. I first grab the rose from the man's backyard, then this flower from the model village, next is the flower from the groundskeeper's garden, and lastly we get this flower from the high street shop, giving us the achievement for collecting all of the flowers. Our last random achievement we can get requires us to get thrown over the fence in the back gardens. The way we go about this is by taking this box from the pub delivery boy and dragging it into the man's yard. Then we wait until he sees it and throws us over the fence to get the achievement. Unfortunately, as you can see, we still have 5 achievements left to get, and 4 of those achievements require us to speedrun each area. But before we get into those achievements, make sure you subscribe and join the Discord to let me know what games you want to see next. Anyway, for every speedrun, we had exactly 7 minutes until the church bells rang to completely finish the to-do list for its respective area. The garden wasn't actually too bad, and I'm not going to go super into detail about these because it's the same tasks we've already covered. Just know the speedrun for the gardens was very heavily dependent on us getting all of the picnic stuff while the groundskeeper was in animations or doing other things. That way we could work on the picnic and do other tasks simultaneously. After taking a couple tries for me to get the timing right, we were able to get this achievement with about 10 seconds left before the 7-minute mark. The high street speedrun was actually really easy compared to all the others, and we were able to complete it on our first attempt because everything with the boy was super easy, and we were able to just lock the shopkeeper in the garage to complete all of the shopping. Unfortunately, the back gardens was the complete opposite. This achievement took me a little over an hour to complete, and I'll be honest, I definitely had a major crash out because the AI cycles of these characters were just not working in my favor at all. I would always get stuck with the neighbors talking too much at the fence, or the man never drinking his tea, or for some reason the lady would have like aimbot as soon as I stepped into her yard. Needless to say, the rage was hitting hard with this stupid achievement because of just how precise the exact order of tasks needed to be done. Eventually, after way too many attempts to count, I finally got the achievement literally as the bells were ringing. Oh my gosh. The pub thankfully wasn't really that bad, and besides a couple hiccups, we were actually able to complete this on our first attempt. Well, kinda. That's what I would say if it wasn't for this being probably the dumbest mistake I've ever made. Anyway, once we break the dartboard, the pub speedrun achievement pops up, and with that we also get the achievement for completing every other achievement in the game. Now, the only thing left to do is make our way back home, open this present, and get our wonderful crown. Overall, I would say Untitled Goose Game is a very fun game that lets you run wild and wreak havoc over everyone you come across. The game has a lot of humor to it, and overall it felt really well made. If you did enjoy this video and want to see me continue my journey on 100%ing every game, please consider liking and subscribing. God bless you all, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.